And we're back, I think. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you. That's excellent.
Back in the studio.
End of a species. Rocking it. Sort of. Or not. Yeah, so how's things been with you?
Good. They've been going well. Been checking the Disney Plus most of the week. Finding all kinds of fun and interesting things on there from my past and whatever they bought from Fox.
Yeah, the X-Men cartoon is on there.
The X-Men cartoon. Holy cow.
Insane.
Yeah.
Spider-Woman, like all sorts of weird and wonderful finds on Disney Plus.
However, you know what? One of the weird things is like I did not find there was a brief like 2-season, maybe 2-year Spider-Man show that was on MTV that was this weird blend of animation and CG. I didn't find that on there. I think it was called like the New Adventures or the New Animated Series. Spider-Man the New Animated Series. I think that's what it was called.
Maybe that'll be for Disney Plus 2.0.
Well, they do have some things to fix on there.
Yeah, send your emails in, folks. We want the MTV Spider-Man series. Or we
I don't think we really want it. I don't think it was very good.
You know the Star Wars Christmas special isn't on there.
Well, I think George Lucas made an attempt to burn every single copy of that. Like he wanted to find and destroy it. Which I don't blame him, because holy hell, that is a nightmare.
But there is a lot of Star Wars on there. A lot of really good Star Wars.
There is a lot. There's all the Star Wars on there, I think.
I know you rag on me because I missed the all of Rebels, and I need to get on there.
Rebels was good. I started off that show, and you'll probably feel the same way, where you're like seeing where this is going, and you start liking all of the characters except the character that you're supposed to care about, which is the kid Ezra, and you're like, screw that kid.
Okay.
To hell with him. But then once he, gets slapped around a little bit and he starts seeing like, oh yeah, I'm kind of a dick. Maybe I should straighten up. Then you're like, okay, I can kind of like him now.
Okay.
But that was
in mind.
That was my first my impression of first season was like, I like everyone except this guy. And he's the one I'm supposed to like,
As opposed to Clone Wars, where in Clone Wars I love Anakin throughout.
Yeah,
like I feel like that's an Anakin I can get on that team. That's on point. And there's some new shows on there.
There is the new show.
Yeah, the
show.
Well, before we get to that,
okay,
there is a show on Disney Plus, and for anybody who's been in theater, it's Kristen Bell is the producer of this show. And on this show, basically they take people who like the first episode was these people who were in high school in 96 and they did a musical. And then they take them today and they're like, hey, we're going to do that show again. That show you did in 96? I think they did Annie. So they...
What show is this?
Oh, I completely
that Encore?
Forgot what the name. Yes,
Encore.
Encore is the name of it. That is it.
That's the name of the show. I was wondering. That's at the top of the marquee. It's like The Mandalorian, which is, and then there's like Lady and the Tramp, and then Encore. And I was like, I don't know what this is, but I don't really care. It
is so funny. Because and here's the thing. There's been 2 episodes of it, and you see, and the first episode is a class that was in 96, around the time that I was in high school. And the second class is from 2007, and you clearly see the difference. Like the 96 folks, I mean, they're a decade older.
Wait, so like, are these people that like they were in high school in 96 and they did a production of a play for their school, and now like 10, 20 years later, whatever, however long, they're redoing that same play and they're playing their same characters?
Correct.
So
with a Disney budget too, like they get costumes and and then they meet Eleanor Shellstrop. Like, hey, Kristen Bell's here. That's awesome.
So like, okay, so they're like an accountant now or something.
Exactly.
And now it's like, hey, go back and play like
But with the class with the folks from 96, you see them, they go through shit and it's like, whatever. We're doing a show. I don't care. The 2000s,
it's fun. Hey, whatever.
We're just doing this. And then I'm gonna go back to my kids. The people from 2007, they're still carrying flames for each other, even though they're married. They're like, that one time my gym teacher said something mean to me, and they fall apart. And it's that generation difference of like,
that sounds like a train wreck. It's
well,
like Generation X that was like, you know what, we'll handle it. You know, like we're a little angsty, but like we'll get stuff done.
Oh, it's
as opposed to like these, you know, post 2000, like everything means something, and I'm so sad.
Exactly right. But I just think if you're out there and you have not seen this and you have a Disney Plus subscription, you should check it out. It's hilarious.
I'll probably put that in the list then.
To pivot, I'll go ahead. You were saying that there's a new show.
There's the new show. The reason, well, my reason really for Disney Plus, which is The Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
And I have so many questions, but I'm also very excited.
Real quick, just for anybody listening out there, we're going to talk about The Mandalorian. First few minutes of this, we're not going to give you any spoilers in case you haven't seen the first 2 episodes.
But then we're spoiling everything.
Yeah, then it's members only after that. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. So the biggest complaint I feel that I have right now, and that's just because like I don't need ADD medicine at all, because like I have a super long attention span. Like the episodes are only like 30 minutes or even less. Like they're like 25 minutes. But like they have like 5 or 6 minutes of like credits, because the way they have to do the thing that Netflix did, where they have to broadcast it in every language. So like, oh hey, here's the German cast, and here's the, you know, Swedish cast, and here's the Austrian cast, and whatever. So like these episodes are only like 28 to 30 minutes, and I'm like, where's more? I want more of this. Like the story ended, and I'm not satisfied yet. Give me more.
I can get behind
that. But what I've seen so far is it's good, but it's mysterious. I have a lot of questions for what's going on. But I'm enjoying the action. I'm enjoying the I'm surprisingly, the main character, the Mandalorian, who we don't really have any kind of name for besides Mandalorian.
Yeah.
He's got part of his clan, and like they know him, and I'm sure he has some sort of name, but no one's referred to him as such yet.
I'm just glad it's not Boba Fett.
We don't know. We don't necessarily know yet.
I absolutely despise Boba Fett, for anybody who doesn't know.
We don't necessarily know yet.
If there is a god in the sky, Boba Fett is still currently being devoured in the Sarlacc pit.
Well, yeah. So the thing that I've been impressed by is that like the guy can act without having a face, really. Like everything's under a helmet, and you can still get emotion from this guy. And there's depth to the character. Oh yeah, there's depth to the character, and you can tell that like he's rough, he's you know laissez-faire or whatever, and he's hardened. Like he's a hardened person, but I think that's the Mandalorians as a general people. But it was like he's got emotion and depth and whatever to it, and I'm surprised at what he's doing without a face at all. So it's just body language and whatever. So
I was discussing this with my friend Dom the other day, and we're hoping he stays in that mask.
I'm thinking he should.
Like for the entire series, just don't take it off.
Yeah,
don't take
covered
off the helmet.
in blood or guts or whatever. Just squeegee it and then
keep the helmet on and keep it moving. Or if you take it off, do like a Empire Strikes Back thing, like where you see see his head from behind for a second as he puts the helmet back on.
Yeah, the Darth Vader. Peak. Yeah, from Empire. Yeah. Okay. That would be. I would not have a problem with that. Really.
And I believe this show's going to come out. It looks like a new episode's going to come out every Friday.
That's confirmed. Yeah. So as confirmed by the Star Wars show, also on YouTube, they've said that like they had the premiere when Disney Plus launched, then that Friday, and then every Friday for the next. Well, it'll be the next 6 weeks now because there's only 8 episodes.
And the production value is not bad.
The production value is up there.
It's off the chain. Like it's off the charts.
And And it's not, and here's the greatest part is like it's not all CG fucking bouncing around, on blue screens the entire time.
Yeah.
So everything's there's puppeteers and there's some CG because like there's just some things that are easier to accomplish.
And I think we owe that to Jon Favreau.
Yes,
he likes that type of let's
he wants to be a director,
where we need them, and then just enhance it a little bit with CG.
Yeah, he's a director. He wants to direct something.
Yeah,
he wants to have a set with people on it, and it's harder to just direct.
This dude wants to take over the planet because like. He conquered Marvel, and now we're heading over to Star Wars.
Well, he helped launch Marvel.
Yeah,
and he's been in it. Like, well, I mean, he was in a movie of it this year. Well, when was Far From Home? Was that this year? That was this year, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
he was in that, and he had
being happy was a great role, but also. Directing different movies and
I was just saying he's all over the place.
Yeah, he's all over Marvel, and now he's heading over to to Star Wars and doing a great job of it.
He is, but he was in Star Wars already. He was in the Clone Wars as Pre Vizsla.
Yeah, you were telling me that the other day.
He played a Mandalorian character aptly now, like. In the cartoon, and David Filoni, who did that show and then subsequently did Rebels, is also a co-producer, I think, on this, on The Mandalorian. So like they're all buddy, keeping each other's toes up in the air.
And what I can say for the first two, I concur with you for the first two episodes. It does leave me wanting, like it does. Not that it leaves me wanting more, it leaves me wanting to know what's coming up next. So I want to watch the next episode.
And there's no like next time on The Mandalorian.
No.
It just kind of ends.
No, the two episodes have been self-enclosed stories that have a beginning, middle, and end. So they have their little story arc the way you're supposed to write it in your creative writing class in college. But it moves a bigger story forward, which I think is
the goal.
Yeah. The idea.
And that's been doing very well, I think. I'm intrigued by everything that's been going on.
So if you haven't watched this thing, I think now is the time where you like go to the next episode of this podcast, or
pause. I mean, like we were saying, they're only 30-minute episodes. Just pause this and then come back. And then keep listening.
Go get you there's different types of subscriptions to Disney Plus. If you're listening to this episode and you're a Star Wars fan and you have not gotten Disney Plus or watched The Mandalorian, turn in your card. Or alternatively, you can subscribe to Disney Plus. I do not have an affiliate link, so I'm not like shilling for Disney. I'm just telling you, go do it. Go handle that. Because from this point on, let's say from 30 seconds from now on, we're going to be spoiler heavy. Just talking about actual things that happen in this.
We're gonna nerd boy
this show. Yeah, we're gonna fanboy, nerd boy, possibly even nerd splain a little bit. Some stuff on this show.
Yeah. So
you got 5 seconds. 1 second. And there's a Yoda in this show. See, I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to tell you.
Oh, we're going there.
There's
I was going to start off a little.
No, we can start off. I just wanted to throw the elephant like right across the room, like Yoda.
There's a baby Yoda.
Yeah, but
whatever. Because we don't even canonically. There's not actually a name for what species of alien Yoda is.
Yeah, I mean,
there's not a name for it.
We've all settled on
Yoda
species, that's a thing. But the other Yoda in canon is not named Yoda.
It's named Yaddle.
So it's not. I would think it's a little presumptuous to say we've named the whole species after him.
The one guy who has the speech impediment.
Yeah,
that guy.
We've named the entire species, and so everything after that is a little Yoda. So,
yeah.
I mean, Baby Yoda, if you change the color palette a little bit, is a gremlin.
Yeah. But the gremlins I felt had like longer arms. More.
Yeah.
It's like maybe that's the Neanderthal Yoda species because they're like more gorilla-like, with longer arms and shorter legs.
And then when they get to the end of the evolutionary chart, they get shorter arms and they become green.
Yeah. They stand up a little taller. They get, they get hair on their ears.
But now that we
spoiled that, so that's the show starts off with the quintessential named Mandalorian collecting a bounty on some ice world somewhere. I don't think they even named it.
No, and I think I like that because one of the things over the past few years in comic book and sci-fi movies alike is this thing of let me flash like. I think the biggest one is in Civil War where they're like, we're in Berlin now.
Yeah.
Look, all across the thing.
Yeah, it's bad. Well, I mean, the one in Civil War, like they stamped that out like on a license plate in prison. Like that was a huge thing.
In case you didn't know, this is where we're at.
Yeah.
Come take a flight. Come see us. Like, no.
Yeah, see how pretty it is? Yeah. So some unnamed ice planet walks into a bar. I mean, chops a guy in half, blasts a couple other people.
We're establishing the badassery of.
That was actually going to be my word for it. If you didn't hit that word, that was the word I was going to say.
Yeah, the Mandalorian ass kickery that's happening is established with the first like right off the rip on this show. It reminds me of. Fan fiction stories that some of my friends have written in the past where it's like, hey, the mysterious guy walks into the bar and destroys everybody. I used to love those things.
But he ends up collecting the bounty on, I don't even know what that race is, a fish guy? Like he's kind of a fishy looking guy. He's not Mon Calamari.
No.
He's not a Qualish.
And
I think he actually, the Qualish got cut in half by the door.
Yes, I think so. I'd have to watch it again, but yeah, I think so.
I think so. Yeah. So he collects a bounty on this guy. Carbon freezes him. He's like lets him be nice.
Now let me. Okay, so the encased in carbonite.
Yeah.
It's
an excellent way to shut up some people.
Let's talk about how it's very forward thinking to say that from Empire Strikes Back to now. Right after the Empire's fallen, we've moved the carbonite technology from being something that you could do on Bespin because, like, let's try it, I guess.
Yeah.
To something that's routinely done in bounty hunting.
Yeah.
Like where now a whole bunch of carbonite encased people are being transported. Like, here's your guys that I caught for you.
Yeah. Well, like a deck of cards as opposed to like have. I mean, if you're if you're transporting like a lot of people, like you don't have to feed them, you don't have to listen to them, you don't have to clean up their mess when they, because let's be honest, like prisons are not great places, and if you want to piss off the guards, just start peeing everywhere, like peeing through the bars, on the wall, take a dump in the middle of the room, like, and just not clean it up. If you're comfortable standing around in your own piss, like you'll piss some people.
Yeah, well, you know something.
So, like, you don't have to deal with that if especially you're in space on an enclosed space. Like, there's like your recirculated air and stuff. Like, you're not breathing.
And you hear the same voice over and over again.
That guy, the fish guy wouldn't shut up.
Yeah, and he was kind of con artisty. So, I mean, I don't really care to go like if they go into his story or not. But and I'm like, if the show went for a few seasons, I could see that character coming back. Like, hey, you're the guy who. Like almost like Rob Schneider in Judge Dredd, but like, but
and you have to quote the bad.
I'm
Judge
pretty
Dredd,
sure
too. The Stallone Judge Dredd.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that that he doesn't have as much in money as he says he does. He's talking about, I have a lot of credits.
Yeah,
talking really fast leads me to call bullshit on that. But here's the thing. So now he's turned over these bounties. He's gotten half of what he thought he was going to get paid for them.
He's like, well, they were going to pay him in Imperial credits, and the Empire is done. So he's like, that's worthless now. So like, the Empire doesn't have like an infrastructure, I guess, anymore at this point.
And in
This
addition,
is a couple of years after Return of the Jedi, so they've officially, I guess at this point, they've officially collapsed. Their form of currency is
gone,
like the Confederate dollar. Like,
it's a wrap.
It's nothing.
So
then he ends up paying him in Mon Calamari money. Like,
but here's the thing: it gives you a sense that one of the side effects, and a lot of the post Return of the Jedi content that you see deals with the effect of the empire going down. Meaning, one of the side effects is the bounty hunting industry is not what it was, because you don't have a Darth Vader out there saying no disintegration. Like, nobody's. If you do something, chances are there's going to be somebody with a blaster that's just going to take care of you. So there's less in the way of people saying, I'm looking for this person to bring them to justice.
Yeah.
So it the question is, like, is the Galactic Republic, how long does it take for that to reform and you have a new, governance in the galaxy? In the meantime, these poor bounty hunters are...
Well, from what I understood, like, they had the Galactic Empire bounty hunting, which paid well, but now, because that's not a thing, and I don't know how supportive the Republic is, the New Republic, the new whatever Leia helped set up, because we don't really quite know what it's called at this point.
Correct.
So, like, if they're even in support of that or not, or what their reach is, like, is he in an area that's supported by the New Republic or not? Like, do they have influence there from going back from, the core worlds and whatnot? So it's very, like, the whole feeling is very, like, Old West, like, desert town, middle of nowhere, like, cowboy kind of feel to it. The lone gunman.
And now they found the other, like, one of the other old school, black guys that's with Cool in Apollo Creed to join Billy D. Williams, as far as, like, hey, I'm about to pay for some bounties, and I'm in the galaxy, motherfucker. Like that. I like that. That's cool. So
he gets a job, a special job, that, because he asked after he turned it in and got his half pay. He said, "What else you got?" And he said, "I have all of these." Like, he listed off like 5 or 6, and he's like, "I'll take all of them." And he's like, "No, this is all I have." Like, you're not the only guy out here. Like, you can't have all of them. And he's like, "Well, what's your most expensive one?" Now we're into, like, oh, well, let me tell you. And then he explains this new thing.
Pull up a chair.
Yeah. He explains this new thing of a special guy who doesn't have, like, the equivalent of a wanted poster. It's like, what they call it? The info puck or something. A bounty puck.
Bounty puck, yeah. With the little
like, with a hologram picture and information on. So he's like, it doesn't have a puck, it doesn't have a wanted poster, it doesn't have anything. You gotta, like, here, like, you gotta go here and give them the special,
stamp your feet 3 times.
The special code to get in the door to go talk to. And he's like, all right, I'll take it. So he goes off.
We go, and we go into this area where another side effect of the Empire going down is that former stormtroopers now have to take little security details.
Yeah.
And so this guy's, being guarded by stormtroopers
in beat up old armor too.
Yeah,
like it looks like it has dirt and blood stains, and might have been patched back together or welded back together a couple of times.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say there's a little beat in here where the Mandalorian says that there's 4 of you and 1 of me, and I like those odds. I don't know if it's a reach to say it's because stormtroopers can't shoot. I've seen...
It might be implied.
Yeah, I've seen media, like in Fallen Order, the new game that just came out. I'm playing that game, and there's little nods to, like, where stormtroopers talk to each other while you're approaching, and you hear little references to
the fact
their
that they can't
inability to hit anything, even at point-blank range. So it might be a reach in this case, but... I'll go with it.
A fan would infer that.
Yeah.
It's like,
y'all can't
you
shoot.
can't hit me. Not only am I really well armored, like you're not gonna be able to land a shot anyway. So go ahead.
And so there's some posturing, and he gets this bounty,
and he gets a piece. Like he gets what looks like how credits are in this are they're like these long, like depending on where they're from, they're these long Imperial credits are long, slim, like different textured, kind of like they almost look like a row of staples, kind of a thing. Like when you put them in the stapler,
yeah,
they kind of look like a row of that, but they've got some like etching and whatever on it. But like he gets this bar that would be like,
what it gives me the inference that during the quote unquote dark times, the Empire just went in and stole shit from the Mandalorians. Like,
most definitely,
this is mine now.
Yeah,
and so that's why he wants that. Like, even when he brings it to his clan area,
because it's a special piece of metal that Mandalorians make their armor out of, and they're like, hey, we're gonna give you this, and then when you bring that other stuff in, we've got more for you. He's like, because we know that this stuff is more important to you than like the actual money. Like, in addition to the money, you're getting these.
I'm telling you, there's some.
He's like, oh, well then, yeah, we'll do this.
There are some countries that, there's, all sorts of. Doesn't have to be third world, but in this particular case, there's some third world countries where if like the bus system goes from public to private or private to public or whatever, some change happens. When the new company comes to take over, you don't see, like, they strip down all the buses for parts. And I can see something like that happening here, where, like, the Empire goes down and, like, oh, let's loot all the coffers, and I have this now.
Yeah, most definitely. And like, oh, the Emperor is dead, and his big, space project got blown up again. Like, yeah, we not only we broke, we're taking whatever we can peel off the side of the house.
Yep. We're running with all the copper pipes.
Yeah. So he gets this bar of metal that's sacred to his people, and goes and has a pauldron made from it, from like the clan blacksmith. Now, like when he goes in, there's no names, there's no exchange, there's barely any exchange of greeting between anybody. And there's just kind of this understanding of like, oh, we haven't seen one of these in a while. Like, have you completed your armor? No. It's like a pauldron seems like an order. Yeah. And they give him he gets a new pauldron crafted that matches his shiny helmet. So that was interesting. So like one of the things I liked about how this went though is that there's no description for the layman about what's really going on, but like the people that are in the lore of this know that like Mandalorians are like, not only they like a sacred warrior race by that similar but not quite like that other one from the other, the counter-ish to Star Wars is the Star. Oh, yeah. That one. There's a species in that other property that has a similar kind of idea, but it's not.
I'll let you know. Even if you were to say it outright, I couldn't pick it out of a lineup because I know nothing about that other property.
Okay. So they've got a warrior with honor, but like there's a line in the Mandalorian where like weapons are part of my religion, and that's kind of like this mindset of how the people grow and prosper. They're kind of a warrior conquering race of people, but like their armor is like a second skin. Like that's
it's like Mandalorians are like the Spartans to the Jedi's monks kind of thing.
Yeah, that would be appropriate.
Yeah.
But like their armor is sacred. Like, you have it's like an earned like thing for them. Like it's not something you're just given. You have to earn it through combat and trial and conquering and winning, and maybe you don't get your whole deal because you're not worthy enough. I don't know that they have any like leave their babies out in the cold and be like, if they're there in a week, they make it.
I really want to study more. I want more Mandalorian lore to come out. I know you told me there was a lot of Mandalorian stuff in Rebels.
Yeah, there's
They
a whole thing with this character called Sabine Wren, and she's very dynamic because in the show she's an artist. Like she does a lot of like color, like she's very colorful on her Mandalorian armor that she's earned, and it's very expressive. And she paints up the ship and she paints up her room. She's a very dynamic character because also like once she gets in the battle, she's a fierce. She's like, oh yeah, she loves blowing shit up. So it's like fun for her. But like there after the first season, like she gets like 2 or 3 episodes usually per season. That's like all heritage and culture based in Mandalorian culture, and it's really good. She's probably one of my favorite characters. She's definitely, besides the main character, she's definitely the one that grows the most.
Okay. There's also Mandalorian, maybe 1 episode, 1 or 2 episodes about with definite Mandalorian deep dives in Clone Wars.
Oh, there's several. Yeah, there's more than 1 or 2 because there's
there's episodes with Mandalorians in them.
Yeah,
but I know that for us, like for you to go to Mandalore and actually talk, like there's maybe 1 or 2 where we're looking at the society like, oh shit, this is how
yeah.
they live.
Well, if you're talking about like deep dive,
Yeah.
ones, yeah. But there's a number of episodes.
I'd
with
love to see
Mandalorians.
more just to get an idea of how far do we go with this? Is it like we will raise you to your 16 and then here's your blaster, go kill that big thing over there.
Go kill a mythosaur and then drag its corpse back, and then we'll make you some armor.
Yeah, and if you survive, that's you.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I mean, maybe, who knows? But I really want to see more. The idea of just observing as the pauldron gets made, and it's this, even the music swells and gives you like, hey, some shit is going down. This is
it's important.
Yeah,
this is important.
A rite of passage.
Yeah, not only is it important just in the story, but like for this guy who is still unnamed. That's if anything, at the end of this series, I want a name. That's all I really want. Do whatever you want. I just want a name for the guy. Or not even like a full name, like a clan name, like what clan he's from.
That would be cool. There was a long running gag on The Big Bang Theory where Penny didn't have we didn't know her last name.
Oh really?
And I don't think we ever got it. Like it just fizzled out.
Yeah.
I think this is a little more because we don't know any, like this guy, the character, even on IMDb, the character's name is the Mandalorian. That's it. So I think this one may need one eventually. Like, hey, what's your name? Who are you? So we can get more. Mm-hmm. There's a lot that you can get from on the surface from his personality so far. How you see that when he does find his bounty, he has a thought of, well, I need to protect it, and you're not sure if he's protecting it for the credits,
or protecting it because,
or for more of those bars, or it's because, hey, look at this. I mean, I recognize this, or whatever.
Yeah,
that's one of those questions. But after you get past that, you kind of want more of who are you, who were you, how did what was your story, what was your
what got you here?
Yeah.
Which we'll jump ahead a little bit. So he gets his pauldron made, and the next scene is he's on a ship landing on something that looks suspiciously like Tatooine because we can't get away from that goddamn planet. Like I assume it's just because it's easy to shoot.
If there's a creation story, like a real creation story, the Force first made Tatooine. Then it made everything else.
It started with this dust ball in the middle of nowhere, and then went on from there. But the place looks suspiciously like Tatooine. He lands somewhere, and then he talks to, I think he's an Ugnaught. Did you gather that as well? That he's an Ugnaught?
Yes, but
maybe.
Yes,
or is he just like a similar unnamed species?
I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna until
we get a definitive.
Yeah, until it tells me. I really want to just accept everything for what I'm seeing. Because I think I'm going to drive myself crazy.
I think he's a little tall for an Ugnaught is also the thing.
But you know what? When the shit actually goes, like when the shit hits the fan and this show becomes like mature, and you're gonna see. I'm gonna see a ton of fucking species, and I don't want to be sitting there with like Wikipedia, like 3 eyes, okay, and like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. So unless the show specifically tells me, I just want to accept that the character is the character, and then that's just me personally. I'll deep dive later, once I know for sure that they're not going to tell me. Like, we haven't seen this character in like 4 seasons and it's gone or whatever.
So there's the mysterious man in the desert, which is a little pink hermit looking pig guy or whatever. And he kind of gives him a lowdown of like, oh, you're here for this? Yeah, there's a stronghold over here, and they're kind of assholes. So I'd like you to get rid of them anyway. I will help you. I have spoken.
And you get a sense that his involvement is a little deeper than what he's saying.
Yeah.
Almost like, I want to help, like, I want to help specifically you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want, I want my planet to be peaceful, but I think that you specifically have to do this thing, have to go on this quest.
So they go to the place where the bounty is, and then there's an IG droid that's it's a droid, but like with all the balls in the world, just like walking into this stronghold, everyone's armed. There's like 40 of them. And he's like, I demand you relinquish this thing to me. And they're like, no. And then they're like, all right. So then like combat parameters are engaged, and that thing goes apeshit, shooting
goes
everything.
All gun fu on him.
Yeah. Which also the IG droid played by Taika Waititi. Who knew?
Yeah.
He's in a lot of stuff lately. He played Hitler. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
He's in this Rabbit, Jojo Rabbit or whatever, that movie. It's all about like children in Nazi Germany. Like, he plays Hitler. It's weird. Also, like, he's a guy of color to be playing Hitler. I think it's kind of a good fuck you to Hitler. Like, you can now be played by an ethnic person.
Another master race. Haha.
It was anyway, Taika Waititi's doing that, but like the Mandalorian joins in because the droid's from the Bounty Hunters Guild, which I guess if you're a bounty hunter and you want to get paid, you have to be part of a guild. It's like Screen Actors or whatever. At least they don't call it
it's a good union job.
Well, that was you say the word union seems to have a negative connotation to it.
No,
but a guild has
bad unions have bad connotations. To me, union is union. If it's a job, it's a job. Whatever.
So then they go through. They kind of they take this stronghold, go inside, find the bounty, and it's Baby Yoda where we started. It's a Baby Yoda, and then the droid's gonna blow its tiny green head off, and then there's just the shot of the visor of the Mandalorian. There's a red flash,
and so it's almost, it's not a cliche yet, but it's a common trope where it's like you hear the blaster shot and who died, and then you see the IG droid.
Well, I mean, Quentin Tarantino does that a lot.
Yeah,
like that's one of his things. So,
but then you see the IG droid go out.
Yeah, and the IG droid goes down.
Outside of this, we did talk about how having an IG droid and hopefully seeing IG-88 at some point would be awesome. But the question that I had right when the IG droid dropped was, are you protecting this Baby Yoda because you're protecting Baby Yoda and hey, Master Yoda was a Yoda?
Yeah.
That sounds weird. Or is it because they said that you get paid more if you bring this thing alive?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Yeah.
And of course, in the second episode, you go through the idea of it's not just as easy as grabbing the Baby Yoda
and then getting back on your ship.
Getting back on your ship, because of course you're in post-Empire galaxy where anywhere you go is the Wild West, and Jawas have taken over your ship. And,
well, I mean, he gets ambushed along the way.
Yeah.
So he gets like I think they were 3 Trandoshans, the lizard Bosk type people.
Yeah.
And also, oh my god, I was so happy because like there's fisticuff, like combat bam bam, And then, like, he pulls that blaster, the one from the Christmas special that we so blatantly mentioned. Boba Fett, like, in case you didn't know, in the Christmas special, there's a cartoon, and in that cartoon is the first introduction of Boba Fett, and Boba Fett has this like weird pronged rifle that's like kind of like a cattle prod, but kind of a long range weapon as well. And like you give it like a 2-second charge, and one of the Trandoshans is charging the baby Yoda to, like, I assume grab and run off with, and he gets a shot off on like the 2-second charge and dusts this guy, like literally turns to dust.
So we know where the disintegration
no disintegrations thing that Vader, he's like, look, we need bodies.
Don't use that rifle.
Don't use that one.
Use the flamethrower a little bit.
Yeah,
whatever.
A couple of blaster shots, incapacitate, stun them, tie them up, whatever. But like that gun, leave that in the car.
The Doom BFG stays behind.
Yeah, so it was cool to kind of see that. I was like, oh yeah, like we got some hardcore weaponry going here. I'm like, yeah, use that thing a lot more. But he gets back to his ship and discovers that his ship has been cannibalized by Sandcrawler and Jawas. Yeah. And again, like I'll just say, like, I fucking hate Jawas.
I think
I love Ewoks. I think like they're cute and helpful and whatever, and they try and be like positive
and
or whatever.
Clumsy in fun ways.
Yeah. And then Jawas just steal your shit.
And they're assholes about it.
And they're like, no, that's mine. And I'm like, no, it was mine. Well, you left it on the side of the road. That's mine now.
And they want to sell it back to you.
Oh.
And a couple of them get dusted.
Rightfully so.
And
I'll shoot you trying to take my stuff too. If I leave my car parked on the side of the road and I come back and you're taking the tires off of it, yeah, you're getting bullets in you.
And this badass motherfucker sees a sandcrawler full of goddamn Jawas and just climbs on top of it.
He's
like,
I'm
gonna get my shit.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he does not though.
Yeah, no.
He gets to the top and then like it's, you open the door to like the warehouse and then there's just 30 guys pointing guns at you, and then he gets tasered, R2. Basically.
He gets R2 tasered.
Yeah.
There's a future episode that's going to be taser friendly.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gets and
he falls off. I'm surprised he survived that, because he didn't look. That's what, maybe 3 stories. Like, that was a fall.
It was a good drop.
Yeah.
It took him a little bit. You had mentioned that at some point in this, when he's gotten hit a few times, the little baby Yoda, there's a little baby Yoda comes out of the
after his first encounter, when they try and steal baby Yoda from him, he got a couple of gashes in, like, between the armor plates, and he's like, he's trying to cauterize some of the wounds and stuff. The baby Yoda gets out of his hover not wheelchair, like bassinet, whatever.
It's just, I mean, when it's fully closed, it's just a sphere. Like it's
it's more eggish.
Yeah,
it's kind
like
of an egg.
this orb thing that he's in.
So he's walking up and he's closing his eyes and raises his hand to the wound, and then Mandalorian just picks him back up and puts him back in the crib, and then goes.
And it's a good bit. It's an interestingly funny.
But like
bit.
It was one of those like, oh, are we gonna go like heavy force power on this? And like this kid's got like force healing at like age 6 months, like, and it knows that it can force heal. Like, I was like, okay. So, and then that there begs the question of, does the Yoda race all have strong force connections? Like, are they like
the Night Sisters?
Yeah. Like, is it learned or inherent, or like they're just spawned out of holes in the ground
or out of midi-chlorians?
Yeah,
or
kind of
whatever.
A thing.
Yeah. We send a Yoda whenever we sense the need. And here you go.
Like the chosen one. Yeah. But so there's that little bit, and then like it just sits there while he wakes up after getting tased off the sandcrawler.
Yeah.
And like it knows, it's like, oh, he's not dead, so I'll just hang out.
And Hermit Man comes back and says, "I'm going to help you get your shit."
Yeah. So they go
to the Jawas.
They go to do trade, and they're like, "Oh, well, what can we trade for it?" And they're like, "Oh, well, we want your armor." And they're like, "He's a Mandalorian. He can't give that up.
Yeah,
that's not a thing.
I'll kill every last one of you before I give you my armor."
And then they ask for the Baby Yoda, and he's like, no, you can't have that. And then they're like, well, then what else? And they're like, the egg. And then everyone's cheering the egg. And I'm like, fine. And I'm like, originally, me and my wife both were like, what's the egg? And I was like, is the egg like the floaty bassinet thing? Like, is that what that is? Like, they want the hover stroller? Like, I'm like, yeah, give them that. Man, get my shit back together.
You can have it. I'll throw in the shit that's in the egg minus the Yoda if you put the shit back together for me. But
nope, that wasn't it. They drive him further out into the middle of the desert to go down a butthole in the middle of the rock.
And encounter some huge rhino-looking thing.
Yeah.
That beats the fuck out of him.
Oh, yeah. Tears his chest plate off. Basically, like that was sparking and everything. His badass gun jams up. He gets his regular blaster knocked out. He sets this thing on fire. That didn't do it.
And then he pulls out this little ass knife, and he's thinking,
"I'm gonna die, but I'm gonna die with a weapon in my hand.
It's gonna be a warrior's death." Mm-hmm. And just before they hit,
Baby
Yoda
lifts this thing in the air like an X-wing out of the swamp, and it's confused. He's confused.
Everybody's confused but Yoda.
Yeah.
Who's not saying anything.
Hasn't said anything. He ate a frog.
Yeah.
Oh. Like, we missed that.
We skipped right over that.
Yeah. When he goes and gets help from the mysterious man in the desert, like, Baby Yoda's, like, chasing some frogs and just eats one whole. It's about the size of his head. He just throws the whole thing, toes wiggling all the way down.
And that makes me actually wonder, because Empire Yoda was a weirdo. And he was a hermit on Dagobah for a while. And
originally that's why I thought he had an issue, is because he was like 20 years, like Luke growing up, like 20 years on this planet by himself with no one to talk to but lizards and snakes,
swamps and swamp shit,
and so like, yeah, you're gonna go a little nutty. Like, this is what's gonna happen.
But now I wonder if that's a species thing, and if like Mace Windu secretly was like, "Yo, I really have a lot of respect for Yoda, but at lunchtime this motherfucker is weird. Have you seen what the fuck he brings in?"
It's like, I can't sit next to him on Sloppy Joe Day. It's a mess.
Weird ass shit.
It's like he gets a bib, and then like I put up a partition between him and me because there's just spatter everywhere.
Like, on the council, everybody wants to hear Yoda, but at lunchtime he gets his own table. Nobody sits with this dude
with a splash and sneeze guard.
But yeah, the Baby Yoda eats a frog, gulps it. No chewing, and has a smiling face afterwards. Like,
giggles. That's the only noise this thing has made.
Yeah.
Was that giggle after eating the frog.
and a couple of like some weird like oohs and ahs.
I don't even think it made a whole lot of those.
No, but it was just like really random ones when it was trying to heal him or whatever.
So lifts this thing in the air. He's confused. He stands up, stabs this rhino beast in the neck.
With the tiniest of knives.
I mean, it was probably about forearm length, maybe, depending on the forearm. Like about forearm length. But that's including the handle too. So like, even then.
Yeah, and I just remember when he stabbed him. Like, how are all his vital organs on the outside? Like,
I'm thinking it's poison. I'm thinking there's like some heavy poison on that thing, because like it's like he got stabbed in the neck and then it like sat and looked at him for a second and then it was
like,
out.
Oh, okay, I'm out, done.
Yeah.
And so the egg is fuzzy.
So yeah, he finds the egg. It's a furry egg, and then
which is weird.
It's like, I don't like. So first of all, the rhino beast, I guess, by our standards, is reptilian, laying an egg. But like, if it's laying an egg, why does it need to have fur on it?
Or is it even the rhino beast's egg? Like, I don't know.
Whatever. It's not.
Eggs should not have hair.
Yeah, it's not explained. But he hauls this thing back to the Jawas. They hands it off, and they just crack that bitch open there on the. They crack it open on the stoop. Just start eating right out of the
weird
egg.
Slimy Cadbury cream right out of this shit. That actually made me a little mad, because if it was me and I'd be like, yo, all you wanted was a fucking snack?
Yeah.
I almost got killed, you idiots. Like, how good does this shit taste to you?
Yeah.
That you could like.
Maybe it's like one of those aphrodisiacs. Like it's the only way they can reproduce is after they've had that, and then it's like, oh, now we can
Let's
repopulate. You're
Jesus.
Getting, all those people you disintegrated. We're gonna get them back now. Like, so.
I don't know. It was weird. I mean, Jawas. You could make a case that they're funny in some ways, but it's just weird. It's like I don't like it. As we hear dings all over the studio.
Not mine. My shit was off.
Oh, I don't care. It's dings. You guys have to know that we are popular people up in here.
So anyway, they give the furry egg to the Jawas. They eat the slop on the stoop right outside the sandcrawler, and then he gets his stuff back. But like it's some assembly required.
Yeah,
so they give him all
build
this,
the ship again.
They give him all this stuff. They bring it back on this sled. He comes back to his ship, and like he's got to put it back together with the Ugnaught guy, which is another thing that makes me believe it's an Ugnaught, because like Ugnaughts are traditionally mechanically inclined. Yeah. So they spend the next couple of days.
But this one seems to be like a farmer, maybe. Herder.
He might be a farmer. He wrangles those galloping like
things.
Almost green Pac-Man looking things.
Yeah.
But like he also could be like the desert mechanic. He's like, hey, my speeder broke down. Like towed it over to like, homeboys over here, and like he'll fix it up, kind of a thing. But he spends they spend the next couple of days putting the ship back together. Baby Yoda eating frogs along the way, I guess. They don't really show him. The only thing the kid eats, this like happens over the course of a couple of days.
Baby Yoda was out.
Oh, he was asleep. Yeah. He was asleep because that forced use of picking up the rhino thing put him out, and he was just out.
Yeah, there was no like he was still alive.
Yeah.
But he caught the sleepies, the itis.
Yeah.
From using the Force.
So this whole episode happens over the course of a couple of days, and then like the idea is they put the ship back together. And like I can put some stuff back together, take it apart, and work with some stuff. I'm all right. But like I don't know that I would trust to put my vehicle back together to withstand the journeys of space and like not have it like get into the outer atmosphere, fall apart, and then I'm just dead. Like I don't know that I would trust my mechanical ability at that point. But like if you're in Star Wars territory, you have to know a lot of stuff. Like you have to know how to put your ships back together, put your speeders back together, shoot, eat, languages. Like
it's hard to survive in a galaxy far, far away.
It is. Like you got to know a lot of stuff. So
overall, I would say I'm looking forward to this show. I was cautiously optimistic because it was I was
very optimistic knowing who was behind it, and I'm like, all right, I know who's like got, they hired a nerd to write some nerd stuff, to produce this thing, and like Jon Favreau's a nerd, He might hide it pretty well, but like he's a nerd at heart, I think.
For me, it was live action Star Wars in an episodic format was like, okay, I trust Jon Favreau. I trust that whole team, but it still doesn't take away the fact that it's difficult to make it good.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, okay, well,
and I feel it's good so far.
Yeah, it is tremendously good.
I still want to have like a reduction in the use. I know it's Star Wars and we have Jedi and whatever use of the Force, but I still want that reduction in use of the Force, where like the only way to get anything really done is to have Force powers, and I don't want that.
Yeah,
to kill the Rhino thing, he needed Force powers practically. So I just want to make sure that's a reduction in that, because I want the Old West cowboy thing. Like I was digging that from the first episode. I was like, yeah, like the lone gunman.
If the use of Force powers in this episode was just to establish that the live MacGuffin we have following us, is valuable because it can use the Force. I'm cool with that. Let's leave it at that. It takes apparently a few hundred years to become a fully fledged Jedi Yoda, right?
Well, we don't know. We don't know when Yoda hit his prime. I mean, he was 900 when he died.
Yeah. So like,
But I mean, like, how long has he been doing it before that? Like, when did he make the rank of Grand Master? Was it year 4? Like, how long has he been Grand Master? Like 400 years? Is that a possibility?
Me, as long as Baby Yoda is like the thing that we're getting, but the story centers on the Mandalorian,
Yeah.
I'm Gucci.
Okay. I feel that it's going to focus on the Mandalorian. I just don't want. I don't want this to turn into like Star Wars Willow. You know, like,
yeah.
I don't want this being like, well, I can't remember what his name was in Willow, the main character, Goodfoot or Good.
Yeah, something.
Good something.
The things I can't remember without looking up nowadays because I'm old.
Well, we've been spoiled by technology too.
Yeah,
But
you have the expanse of knowledge of everything in the palm of your
how
hand.
am I supposed to know how to put a ship together and know all the movie facts that I'm supposed to know, and be able to like quote them on command? So I'm doing a quick search here. Willow of 1988. Willow Ufgood.
Yes,
Was his name.
Oh,
So
he was a handmaid or
Ufgood?
something. I don't know.
Warwick,
Anyway,
Warwick Davis, which I completely expect to show up in this show at some point because he has
Warwick Davis can do no wrong.
He shows up in a little bit of Star Wars almost every single time.
Was that a pun?
Yeah, probably not intentional, but yeah, why not?
Well, on that note,
Well, he fixes up the ship and he sets sail, and then we don't know if he turned the kid in or not. Like, we don't know where that's going. So the idea is that he's going to turn in the kid.
yeah, my hope is that he turns him in just because I'm fiercely loyal to the memory of Yoda, but I don't know this kid. Like, I don't want to be.
I don't know you.
I don't want to be racist and be like, well, just because he's a Yoda, he's awesome. I don't know that.
Yeah.
So if he turns in the kid and they do experiments on him, I'm cool. If he turns the kid into what is future going to be the Resistance, and they bring him out in episode 12 as the new Yoda, I'm cool with that too. I just don't want this whole show to be about Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
And like,
we need the Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian and his sidekick, Baby Yoda, that does the Daffy Duck trick and goes to sleep.
Yeah.
but
now, yeah.
So, having said that, I think we've covered everything on The Mandalorian.
Well, we basically gave everyone a play-by-play, but so hopefully, like, this is not the way to watch this show. Like, watch the show and then listen to us bitch about it.
If you skip the whole warning on spoilers and you're using us as your
Disney Plus subscription,
that's no bueno. You're missing a lot. There's no way that we could capture the whole essence of it.
There's nuance. There's a lot of nuance.
Yeah. But this has been the End of a Species podcast, 3rd episode, season 1. And
did we introduce ourselves?
I don't think we need to anymore. I think we're celebrities now, and
yeah,
everybody knows who I am. Everybody knows who you are. Yeah. They snap our picture when I go into the driveway. Yeah, but in case you don't do that, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Adam.
And yeah, we'll see you on our next episode. Oh, fuck GameStop.